welcome to another edition of the Tom Greene Show. As you see, we have another frequent guest that has come back here, and he is not happy right now. Are you?
Well, we're talking about Michigan, so...
Yep, it's the Tom Greene Show where we are talking about the dismal year that is.
The dismal, the abysmal, the Armageddon-esque, end-of-the-world, dark ages, Transformers Age of Extinction that is the University of Michigan football program.
Is it, since only Adam kind of knows about it, is this similar to what the late 80s was for Michigan football?
No, this is the worst period in the history of Michigan football. The late 80s, Michigan actually went to some Rose Bowls. They won the Rose Bowl. They beat USC. It was Bo Schembechler. They were good. This is the worst I've ever seen Michigan ever. This is one of the worst football teams. Outside of maybe Rich Rod's first season, this is the worst football team I've ever seen for Michigan. But Rich Rod had an excuse. He was putting in a brand new offense, and he didn't have a quarterback that could run faster than like a 6-second 40-yard dash. So they had a reason for being awful. This team doesn't. So yeah, this is the worst Michigan team I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's embarrassing. The athletic director should be fired. Brady Hoke, as nice a guy as he is, he should be fired too. They need to bring in a big name to change things. Because even if they go out and they get somebody who might be a good coach somewhere else, but they're not like a name, the excitement level at Michigan is still going to be like ho-hum. They need, let's face it, they need one of the H guys coming in. They need a H-bomb. That's the only thing that's getting Ann Arbor going again. So, yeah, this is pathetic. And I don't think Michigan will win the rest of the year. I think they'll lose to Penn State, as bad as Penn State is. Michigan's not going to win. They're going to be 2-11 or whatever.
2-10?
2-10, 2-11, whatever it's going to be. They're definitely not going to a bowl game. There's no way they're going to win 4 more games this year. So it's pretty much over.
Yeah, right now, if you're a Michigan fan, you got to be feeling like, oh, you got to have the Rob Ryan and Eli Manning face going on.
You're probably climbing onto the Mackinac Bridge, but you're planning on doing it, but only after winter hits, and you know that you're going to land on a frozen lake instead of water, so that you make sure there's no cushioning for your fall. That's what Michigan fans are going to be doing. Once it gets cold enough, they're going to go up to the Mackinac Bridge and eat a pasty as they're falling to their deaths. That's how bad Michigan football is right now. It's awful.
But the student body is chanting for Brandon and Hope to be fired. People, big name recruits are decommitting from the University of Michigan. This is, like I said, this is like in the movie Misery, where the wife breaks the husband's or the guy's ankles.
The insane fan. Except pretty soon Dave Brandon's going to be the guy in the bed with Michigan fans who are nuts, breaking his legs. They're going to be cobbling that guy, just like James Conn, because it's just so bad. There's no excuse for this. Now some people are trying to say that this is all Rich Rod's fault, which doesn't make sense because he's been gone for a long time. And Rich Rod last week, for the second year in a row, defeated Oregon. And people want to rip on Rich Rod's defense. Well, guess what? He got his defensive staff this year from Arizona, and they held Oregon to half the amount of points that Michigan State's defense gave up at Oregon. So as far as I'm concerned, that's living proof that the problem was not Rich Rodriguez, but Michigan's administration, and that, maybe Brady Hoke is a better coach than we think, but the administration right now is just awful. They don't know what they're doing. It's terrible. Dave Brandon is the problem. He's a pizza guy. He's bringing in a lot of money to Michigan by bleeding the students dry and charging 5 times the amount for student tickets than Alabama charges their students.
Yeah, get this. $4.50 for a bottle of water. Really, Dave Brandon? $4.50 of my hard-earned money has to go to your brand for a bottle of Absa Pure water?
And you should have just bought a Coke, because then you would have gotten a free ticket.
2 Cokes for a free ticket. But remember, we have a 2-hour drive down there.
That's true.
So, it was probably more worth it to get the $23 ticket than it was to drive down, get 2 Cokes, drive back up, then drive back down. So, but still,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a disaster, and everybody knows what's going to happen. The only thing we're not completely sure of is, will the regents at Michigan get rid of Dave Brandon as well? Will they actually allow him to hire the next coach? Because if he comes out at the end of the season when we're 2-10 and says, I believe in Brady Hoke, basically the students will burn down the University of Michigan Sparty style, except instead of just a couch, it'll be the entire campus. Because
yeah.
many people, like Kaiser Soze, would rather see their family dead than have to live through such suffering again. So they would rather burn the whole campus down so that they don't have to see anything else like that anymore, just to put us out of our misery. They will burn down the big house. So we know Brady Hoke's done. I don't care what David Brandon says. The question is, and now he's scrambling, trying to say, I want to make it up to the students, and I want to make, repair our injured relationship. He knows he's in a lot of trouble, so he's scrambling into like repair mode. But no, Dave Brandon, you've got to go. Brady Hoke, you're a nice dude, but you've got to go. And we need Jim or John Harbaugh to come in. I would accept Les Miles if we couldn't get the other 2 guys first.
I was about to say, I have a feeling that Miles could be jobless at the end of the year if LSU was tanking. LSU's tanking right now.
They are. They're tanking.
Auburn was usually an automatic win for LSU.
Yeah.
Even when Auburn was Auburn, LSU beats them.
Yeah, it was
They
like
got
6
whooped
out of
by
7 years
LSU.
or something like that. They had beaten LSU and they lost LSU and they just blew them out. Yeah, Les Miles, this might be the year for him. I mean, either LSU will give him a vote of confidence, and he'll be fine, and he might use the Michigan job to try to get a raise. But I doubt if they have a really bad year, he'll be gone. But if he is in trouble with his job in LSU and Michigan becomes open, that might be a possibility. Mm-hmm. The rumors are that the administrators don't want John Harbaugh before Jim Harbaugh, and then if Jim is available or if he even wants to go to Michigan, which who knows if these guys even want the Michigan job.
I heard another name, Shiano. I heard his name being kicked around.
I hope not. He had one or 2 good years at Rutgers, and then he thought he was awesome, and he went other places, and he's not been the same. He's overrated. He would be another Brady Hoke. They need Les Miles. I think would be the best choice if they can't get the other 2 guys, and I think they can get him. I think Les Miles is done with LSU. He's burned out there. He might be able to put a fresh 4 or 5 years at Michigan if they can get him. Hopefully they can make us at least relevant again, and who knows, but who knows, maybe Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh just sit and wait until the end of the season and they'll jump on it. So I did check in John Harbaugh's wife at the airport, which I no longer work at, just to let you know, and she was a nice lady. They own vacation homes in Michigan. She was all about the state of Michigan, so maybe John is with her on that, and they might actually come to Michigan. That would be awesome, because he grew up there, so.
Mm-hmm. That's really... Kansas fired Charlie Weiss, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Why didn't Brandon fire Hoke then? Why didn't Brandon just leave? It's like...
And the bigger question, why didn't Brandon immediately hire Charlie Weiss? Because the dude was that coach at Notre Dame. The dude was with the Patriots. The dude was with Kansas. The guy's got a great reputation. Might as well bring him in.
And he's getting paid millions to sit.
And he has a lot of experience in big time programs. I mean, Charlie Weiss was clearly the guy. No? All right.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as an interim, maybe, but
I
he's
think
getting paid millions to do what we're doing right now. Sit.
But it's a good question, though. It's why didn't they fire him then? I think the problem is going to be if Michigan continues to lose, which I think they will. Apparently, Penn State's really bad, but so's Michigan. But if Michigan loses to Penn State, who's terrible, they're going to have to stop the bleeding at some point. You can't just keep coming out saying, I believe in Brady Hoke, because it's that. Nobody cares about that. Brady Hoke's been saying the same thing in his press conferences every single press conference since he's been here.
Yeah, after the Minnesota game, which is after the Was it or the first Big Ten game, which was Minnesota?
Yeah, when they went in and made Michigan look like a Pee-wee team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I was at. Brady Hocus had came out and said, "We could still win the Big Ten.
We just got to work harder." And it's like, yeah, Brady, great. And then they lose the next week on the road to Rutgers, which I called as well. And it's, well, we got to work harder. We got to love one another. We're playing for each other. Even the players are saying the same stuff Brady Hoke says now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, it's done. It's like, fire Hoke and end his misery. Like, even if you fire him and promote Madison or Nussmeier to interim head coach, at least that says there's change coming. It's like, stop the bleeding. For crying out loud, stop the bleeding. But until they do that, it's just going to be awful for the rest of the year. And it's really, I think it's mean-spirited to let Brady Hoke continue to coach, because the dude's got to like look at himself in the mirror every morning and think, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to work today because we're just terrible.
Mm-hmm. It's just bad. Bad, 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 bad.
Right? Hey, quick, staring contest.
He blinked.
Ah, first time.
We will talk some better things in our other segments of the Tom Greene Show with Adam Dustin.
Sounds good. Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the great heroes. Why?